Hi there. One of the problems I think that all of us have as paper crafters is the lack of paper available. I always seem to have, even though I have tons of it, find the need for something that I don't happen to have. At work, we have these decoupage papers, and they are delightful. The patterns on them are just so gorgeous. So I took it upon myself to thought, well, you know what? I'm going to see if I can't make a paper, like a cardstock out of this. So what I did do was I decoupaged just a piece of cardstock. So this is the cardstock that I made out of it. And what I thought I would do is put together a little bit of a card. So I used Creative Expressions. I've got this is the Noble die that I used to cut out my the card, the frame, and this particular size there. And then also what I did do was I cut out with some blue using the looped snowflake frame, as well as on the bottom I put down this Festive Collection checkerboard poinsettia border. Didn't use the whole thing, I trimmed it off there, you'll see. But what the goal really is in something when the paper is so busy, it's almost what you want to do is cover the paper up as much as you can. So what I did then was when I cut out the snowflake, the looped snowflake, I cut two of them out so they're overlapping each other. So that gives it a little more coverage on the paper. So because you don't want it to make it too busy. So that's what I did with the that poinsettia border was I cut those checkerboard edges off of it, again toning down the busyness of it. So we've got that. Then we've got ourselves a little bit of a frame, and it's just going to go on some coconut cardstock from Creative Expressions as well. So then we'll just put this card together. My sentiment's going to be from this year's sentiments. Hold on, I'm just looking for the package. Here it is. So the sentiment is going to be, because it kind of looks a little bit like a sweater and stuff, Warmest Wishes, and that's this year's Christmas sayings. It's got some lovely sentiments on it, cute little fonts. So what I'm going to do then is just do the saying using, I hope this teal zeal works for the sentiment, because I don't want to introduce too many colors. I debated whether or not I was going to put in the sentiment in a funkier color, but I think I'm going to stick with a plainer color just to keep the busyness down. So I've got my little stamping device here. This is just a little portable one from Leanne Creative. Works perfect for sentiments because you don't have to have a lot of surface area to do your stamping with. So just tape it down. I use the Post-it notes Ultra Sticky. So you can just put your sentiment down there, line it up, make sure it's straight, collect it with the top portion there, and then we can stamp and restamp depending on the coverage that we get on that. So stamp my Warmest Wishes on there. Just need to press it down a little bit. I find when you use these devices, you don't have to go to town with, see it, I've got a little bit of openness there so I can stamp it again. But with these devices, you don't have to just lean on the stamp, which for these cling ones makes it all squish out the bottom and makes it a little bit too, the lines aren't crisp, the edges aren't crisp. So I'm happy with that, and I'm happy with the color match. It works quite nicely with the cardstock that I'm using. So we're just going to put this together. And I'm not going to use any embossing powder on it as well. I don't want that gloss. I don't want it to be too like I said, too busy. So then that's going to be put together, and that will just be our little card. I think it turned out pretty cute. Again, necessity is the mother of invention, and in creating my little card papers using the decoupage paper. But so then my next project is going to be, we've got some cute little stamps. They're car, it's a vintage car, vintage airplane, and a tall ship boat. And so what I thought, I found this Nellie's Tips. She's got a really awesome card here using the stamps that I had mentioned. There's the vintage card, the vintage plane, and the sailboat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make decoupage paper, and I'm going to use the background to be these atlas papers, the decoupage papers, and kind of replicate the card with the atlas paper in the background. I think that's going to look pretty adorable. Anyway, I'll post that when I do that one. Enjoy!